Okay, this is part 2 of my effort to try to figure out this tool, slice, under the Midi Mutator. And I think I'm starting to get a handle on it. And the only way I was able to do that is to create the simplest phrase you can imagine, which is just one note, 4 bars long, a C4. So let's take a look at these slices, and we're going to do 1/4 note, and I put it on splits because that makes it a lot simpler. So when I hit slice, we split it. So it says 2 slices. What that means is it doesn't mean it's splitting it like 2 cuts. It means we're ending up with 2 slices of the pie. In other words, we're cutting the pie into 2 parts. So that's the first thing to kind of get clear, is that the slices refers to the number of cuts. Not the number of cuts, the number of pieces of the pie we're going to end up with. So if we cut a pie 2 times, I think this is what I'm trying to say. If we cut a pie once, we're going to end up with 2 parts of the pie. They may not be even, or they may be even, doesn't matter. So this is a little tricky because we have 2, but in fact we just have 2 slices here, which means like 1 cut. And that's what threw me off. I hope that's not too much of a digression. Anyway, you'll see here, this will make it very clear. If we go to 3, it updates automatically. You see 3, and now we have three different parts. The C note is divided into 3. And if we do 4, we have 4, 5, or 6. We have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get the idea. So this is going to represent the number. This number here, next to before slices, represents the call it, I don't know, the pieces of the pie. This will be 6 pieces. The phrase will have 6 pieces, for want of a better term. Okay. Now these pieces, obviously, you can see that they're less than a measure long, and that, you know, that's going to depend on these other settings, like how long the pieces are going to be. So let's go back, now that we've kind of cleared up at least that this number of slices. I think we kind of understand that. Let's see if we can next understand this, the boundary. It says slice boundary, where the phrase can be sliced. Okay, so what if we hit 1/8? Okay, so if we had 2 at 1/8, somewhere I would expect a slice, somewhere this one single note that's 4 measures long, I would expect one slice somewhere along an 1/8 note boundary. So let's see what happens. I'm going to change this to 2. Okay. Now it sliced it here, but this is a boundary. This is like the first 1/8 note. But I think if we keep hitting this, we're going to end up with some boundary where it's not on the beat. Okay, so let's see if that's true. I'm selecting. It seems to. All right, let's try 3. We're still on the beat. Still on the beat. So it seems to be only slicing on the beat. let me go up to 5. Yeah. So as I click it, even though this is set at 1/8, it's not going to do a slice in the middle of a quarter note. I would have expected it to do that, but it's not going to do that, which may be a good thing actually. Okay, so that's 1/8. I'm going to keep going back to the original phrase so we can really understand this thing. Now I'm going to select back to 2, but this time I think I'm going to do 3/16. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Nope, that's on the beat. That surprises me. Try it again. Still on the beat. This doesn't seem to be working, to tell you the truth. 3/16. But let's see if we go to a different number. So this is 5. It's still splitting this 4 whole note long C along the beats. Even though we've got the boundary set to 3/16. And even if as I increase the number of slices, now we're finally, so with 14 you start to get slices that are off the beat because it's trying to fit 14 slices in there. By the way, let's listen to this. Okay. Let's go back. All right, so we did 14. Let's go back to this time 3 slices and 3/4. Let's see if that reveals something. Well, yeah, okay. So this is the first time we're getting off the beat. We have 3 slices at 3/4 boundary, and so we have this this slice. So this slice is this slice is a whole note, but this slice is a dotted hole, right? Yeah, this slice is a dotted hole, and this slice is a dotted hole. But if we go to 2, then we have 2 whole notes. No, we don't. Okay, yeah, so this is doing something, this 3/4. Now we're getting a slice in the middle of measure 3. And we set it at 3/4. Okay, I'll go up to 3. Okay, I'm not really following that too well. Well, let's do 4/4. That's a whole. What happens there? That just splits it. and as I go up. So it can't, beyond 4 whole notes, it can't make any more slices at 4/4. And that's logical. There's just no more room. Because, you know, maybe that's telling us that at 4/4, that the smallest slice has to be a whole note, 4/4 notes. Now, if this is 3, yeah, our smallest slice is a whole note, and we're slicing the phrase into 3 parts. Okay, I get that. Now, if we go to 1/8, well, at 1/8, we start to get, when we get up to enough slices, we start to get some 1/8 notes. Now, I bet that if I keep going with the number, it's never going to be smaller than 1/8. See, it'll stop. Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's telling us something. So this number here, this note duration of 1/8 is basically setting the lower limit on the duration that the slices can create. So now let's see, if I change this to 1/4, I'm guessing that all these notes are going to pop back to 1/4 note long. Let's see if that's true. Yeah. See what's happening? With 3/16, now they're all popping up to 3/16 long. So this is essentially the minimum duration of the slice. So if I do 1/4, yeah, see? Okay, that's checking out. This is the minimum duration, note duration of the slice. Now if I do 2/4, yeah. Okay, we're getting half notes. Let's see, 3/4, yeah, we're getting these notes are 3/4. So now I'm starting to get it. I hope you are too, and maybe you caught on to this a lot sooner than I did. But yeah, this is your note duration, or I should say minimum note duration. But in order to see it, you have to kind of ramp up the number of slices, and I wasn't doing that, so it was kind of hard to figure out what this thing really was. But I think I've got it now. And yeah, and see, when I go down to just 2 slices, you no longer see the 3 notes, 3/4 notes of 3/4 note duration. You no longer see that, right? Because we have well, although you do see a split, an uneven split here, but in order to kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say, but these 3/4 notes, or these splits, only start to show up let's see, now with the 3/4 it stops working, but again, that's because there's no more room for the extra slices, since they're the minimum. Yeah. So here are the 3/4. Since they're the minimum note duration, you know, after it's sliced up the whole phrase into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's no more room to slice. But if I go to 1/8, then you see that. Okay. All right. All right, let me pause there, and we'll play around with the next option here, which is the number of steps in rearranging the slices. Okay. All right. Okay. You know, I came up with another approach to trying to understand this function or tool in the Midi Mutator, and I'm referring to this slice function. And I started to realize, you know, maybe trying to approach this thing kind of like from an engineering perspective. Let's take a musical phrase, in this case a C major scale, and apply some of these things and try to get a feel for what this thing can do musically, because really at the end of the day that's the whole point. And I know I've been kind of delving into the, you know, exactly how these tools work, and not really focusing on the musical results, but and I think that's okay. I hope it's okay up to this point, but I think with this slice tool it really doesn't make that much sense. So let's just try. We'll take the scale, and I've got these settings. So our boundary is 1/8, and that basically means that's going to be the smallest note duration. At least we know that much. And then I've chosen 12 slices. Okay, and I've got a number of steps in rearranging the slices. Well, I'll do 1. And then I've got split notes. So let's see what happens with that. Well, right off the bat, I think that's musical. And we can see, like, this F came from measure 3, right? We had an F there, so it's think of this as like a type of horizontal swap. So the F, it seems like the F was swapped with the G, right? Because we have 2 G's here. So let's hit it again. In fact, I'll put on Psycho Play, and I'm just going to hit it a few times and let your ears judge whether you know, this has some real musical value. I think it does. I hope so. Hit it again. That's back to our original phrase. Now you can see here, it's real easy to see the swaps because we know the shape of the scale. So I'll pat myself on the back for you know, trying to figure this tool out in terms of a C major scale going up and down. So you can see here, it's real easy to see this. The C, the last the last beat, anyway, the C and the G were swapped out, right? Because if I move this over here, and I move this over here, that's our original phrase. Okay. So let's continue with listening to this. Okay. All right. First thing that occurs to me is I've never seen any kind of Midi tool in any other software that does this. And this is clearly in the right, with the right type of phrase. I mean, this is clearly a nice way to get some variation. And you know, some nice melody actually. Get some really nice melodic ideas. And don't forget that you can hit this lock command if you get, you know, you start to get part of the phrase that you like. Let's say this leap from, let's say starting here. Yeah, I kind of like this leap from A down to C and then going back to F and then flowing down. That's kind of nice. So maybe what you'd want to do is, you know, select that and then lock it, okay? And then you keep hitting the slice lightning bolt, and you get, you know, you're going to get some changes here, right? So, you know, that's a big part of the MIDI mutator that you don't want to forget. In any of these, with any of these tools, like, you can be selective with them, and that just adds a whole nother level of power. I think there's a particular program, a few programs do this, where you can kind of lock the notes or select notes that you want to lock and then play with these melodic permutation tools. I think Captain Melody does that. There's another one, I can't remember the name, but in any event, you get the idea. So basically, with these settings here, we're just swapping notes. That's what we're doing, right? We've got a bunch of quarter notes, and we're swapping positions of these notes. We're not changing the length. We're not splitting them, which, you know, you might kind of, you know, think that this is about like splitting notes and stuff, but you know, not really, at least with these settings. Okay, so now let's see. We haven't, with this setting, we haven't changed any durations at all. So let's see if we can get a little bit of variety with duration by going to 3/16. We're starting with a quarter. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, so that's working. But we have these overlaps, which we're probably not going to want. So let's see if we reduce the number of slices. Yeah, we're going to get, yeah. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but the MIDI mutator, when you start applying some of these changes, it actually kind of updates this line up here, which shows the chords. I'm not too sure how to use this ability, but it is, at least you can, it's kind of giving you some idea of where you are harmonically at these different points in the phrase. Okay, so when I change a number of slices, I'm not going to get any note durations of 3/16 without an overlap, which I probably don't want. And I've got it on split notes. So I would have preferred where I start to get some note durations of you know, a dotted eighth. That's what 3/16 is, right? It's a dotted eighth. But I'm stuck on either a quarter, or if I go up with the slices, I get these overlaps. And I'm not getting any, let's see. Yeah, okay, there's some of these notes are, some of these notes are 3/16. See if I can, what about shortened notes? Let's go back to our composition, clear it up. And I've got shortened notes. Let's see what happens there. Well, I'm not getting any overlaps. And I'm getting these eighth notes. I'm not getting 3/16 notes. I'm getting eighth notes. But I've got a 3/16 here on the A. And then here's an eighth. Remember, I started out with quarter notes. So I've got like an eighth note here, a dotted eighth, an eighth, and then a 16th, and an eighth. So now if I move down on the number of slices, all right, this is just 2 slices. I get up to 5, and I do start to get some duration change. At least I get one. This C4, right, is a half note. Let's see if I go back to 1/8. You know, so with this note duration, the higher I go, the more the notes turn into eighth. You know, the more the duration finally gets down to the minimum, which is the 1/8. Now, if I select this and go to 3/16, then we get some variety, but the notes are shortened. If I hit don't slice notes, we have this legato, but the only duration change we get really is this 1C, which is a half note. So that doesn't give us a lot of variety. Let's do 3/4. That would be our minimum duration. So that doesn't do much. Well, you know, I'm looking at this tool as something you're just gonna, you know, you're just gonna adjust these here and put it on cycle play and let your ears be the judge if you get something you like. Now I'm turning up the number of slices. It's not doing anything. That's nice. It's kind of stuck on that now. Now here we get a rest. You know, I kind of like that. All we need is to make it legato. And I'm sure there's some other tools that'll do that. I think in the variations, I think if we go to variations, I think there's a legato variation. Let's see. Staccato, legato? Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's try that. So let's imagine we like what we've got here. So we hit apply changes, and then select a phrase, staccato, legato. All right. Okay, I think that's got it. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So with the Midi mutator, you know, we can end up with a legato, well, you know, kind of a jagged phrase, you know, with these slices, but we can easily go to our when we get into the composition, we can easily kind of adjust that, and and we don't have to make it completely legato. Like, let's try this, where this is going to give us a few rests here and there, but it's going to make some of the notes flow more evenly. So let's hear that. Yeah, I like the rest here on beat 3. Okay, and then we can go into our phrase editor. Now this C, I'll make that legato. I like the rest here. Make that C legato. Take the rest out. Move that over. Do a little run up here. Let's listen to that. So here we have a little modulation to G. So we could start our, our next 4 bars in a different key, the key of G instead of C. Yeah. Okay. So that's some kind of, I was trying to give you some kind of workflow there. And going back to where we were, so we used this slice command to create this, to cut up the C major scale, right? And it kind of swapped out some notes. We kind of liked what we had, and then we applied changes, which would take us back to the composition. And then we hit the staccato legato, and we adjusted that. And then we went over to our phrase editor, which is a nice place to, move things, to edit the phrase. And, we changed the length, made, there was a rest here that I kind of liked. And then we made some legato. And then, yeah. So getting back to the Midi mutator, I think we've definitely covered everything under this rhythm generator. These tools, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 tools, and now we can move on to one of these other tabs and see what we can find out there. Okay, thanks for going on this journey with me. I know it's been really detailed, and I hope we've got a feel for this thing, so that when we, when you want to go to this thing, you have some idea of where you are. Okay. All right. I'll see you in the next video.